Guten Tag. Wie geht's Ihnen heute? Sehr gut. Es geht nicht gut. Es geht mir okay, so. Also nicht ganz gut, aber nicht schlecht. Jetzt ein bisschen auf Englisch. I said yesterday that we will begin with any difficulties you might have had in the last semester, which from the last semester which you are carrying, which some things are not clear, etc. So, if any of you have any questions, anything to be clarified about whatever you covered in the last semester, we can begin from that. Yes. Wie heißen Sie?
Ich bin Swaminathan.
Swaminathan. Okay.
The dative form.
Dative. Okay. Wir machen vielleicht Notizen. Wir notieren, was alles wir wiederholen können. Wiederholen? To repeat, ja, to revise. Also Dativ einmal, okay. Gibt es andere Probleme, andere Schwierigkeiten? Difficulties, yeah.
When to use am, and there, in, im and by.
Noch einmal?
When and where should we use am, and there, in, im and by.
Am,
And there,
an der,
in,
in, im,
by.
bei. Vielleicht beginnen wir mit diesen zwei Fragen. Zuerst am, an der, in, im, bei. Am ist nichts anderes als an dem. Ja? An dem. Im ist in dem. Bitte geben Sie, wie heißen Sie?
Real.
Ria. Bitte geben Sie uns ein Beispiel. Beispiel?
An example.
Ja?
I am at the market. So how? Like,
Auf Deutsch bitte.
the in der Stadt.
Ja, was ist in der Stadt?
Then ich bin in der Stadt.
Okay. Oder? An der, am, an der. Beispiele? Ja. Ich studiere am IIT Madras. Okay, nehmen wir ganz schnell diese zwei Beispiele. Das hat zu tun mit dem Dativ. Okay, so I'll quickly explain this in English. So the first question that came was to explain the dative, and the second question is connected because what Ria has highlighted is basically the use of the dative form with an and in. Okay. Now I have to improvise a little bit. So, how many of you are clear about the nominative accusative? Say in a few words what you understand by nominative accusative. Yeah, we'll right now, since we are all at different levels, let's come down to a common level, which is English. Yeah. Wie heißen Sie? Vibhu, yeah.
So the nominative is used to refer to the direct object of a subject, the person that does an action. And the accusative case is used to refer to the direct object, the person or thing upon which something is done.
So is that clear to everybody? I mean, if I teach you, I teach German, a very simple sentence. I am the subject, I am the nominative, teaching is the action going on, and what is being taught? German, that is a direct object, clear? Or I play cricket, I read a book, my friend or the student learns a new poem, whatever it is. So, you have a subject that is performing the action, you have an action that is being performed, and you have an object on which the action is performed. Okay, that is the standard subject, verb, direct object. Now, the subject can be a person or a thing or anything, okay, and the object similarly can be a person or thing, anything. For example, I call my friend. Okay, if I call my friend, then the object of my calling is my friend. So, the person becomes a direct object. So, grammatically speaking, the subject as well as the objects can be anything, can be a person, a thing, a concept even. The idea appeals to me. If I say the idea appeals to me, then the idea is the subject. It's neither a thing, it's a concept. Okay, it's an idea. Okay, so then the dative case that you are asking about, the dative case which some of you have done and some of you have not done, which Shashirika is introduced maybe a little bit in the group, that is when one more entity comes into the sentence as an indirect object. For example, if I buy a new pen, now I am still within the subject object dichotomy, I am buying a new pen, but if I buy my daughter a new pen, then there is still something going on. I mean, same action is going on. I am buying a pen, but there is a third entity involved now. There is my daughter that's come into the sentence, and she is going to be affected by my action of buying a pen because she is going to gain something or whatever. Okay, or I write a letter. I write an email. I don't write a letter anymore. I write an email. I write my father an email. You see the difference between I write an email, what am I writing? An email. To whom? Indirect object. That is your dative object. Is that, I mean, conceptually speaking, there is nothing more to it. Is that okay? That is the indirect object, there is nothing more to it. If I give you a glass of water, I am giving subject, I am giving what? Glass of water, direct object. Whom? You. You are the dative object, indirect object. Okay. So, let us make a pause here. Here, till here, are there any issues with? Now we have, for example, speaking in grammatical terms, now we have nominative, subject, accusative, direct object, und dative, indirect object. At the level of idea, is that clear? Yes, no? Okay. So, then we come to the forms of the nominative, the accusative and the dative. Okay. We have already seen a contrast since our language of instruction till now has been English. I think we can all assume English to be a fairly common language that we know to some extent, and then we can see that in English there is hardly any difference between the different genders, forms, cases, etc. By the way, what we are discussing right now are cases. Okay, they are the nominative case, the accusative case and the dative case, and there is one more case later on which is the genitive case or the possessive case, that we will do later. Okay. So, these are the cases. So, the boy writes the father a letter, no problem. The mother gives the daughter rice or a glass of water or some tea, whatever. There is no inflection anywhere. It is quite simple in that sense. But we have, I mean, you have done very well in your German 1 course, and so you know that gender distinction, for example, is very arbitrary in German. So there are certain markers that you have in German which tell you the gender, which tell you, so these markers will also be influenced by the cases. Okay, so you have different forms. For example, if a masculine noun is the subject, then which is the article that we use? Der. If a masculine noun is the direct object, then den. So we'll just make a small N A de. What does it stand for? Nominative accusative dative. Don't write just now, I'll give you time to write. Okay. And then we'll just put here M F N. What does it stand for? Feminine neuter. So if you have a case of masculine nominative, what is the article that we use? Der. Sorry, der. If you have a feminine nominative, D. Neuter nominative, das. Masculine accusative, den. Den. Feminine accusative, D. Neutrum accusative, das. Masculine dative, dem. Feminine dative, der. Der. Neutrum dative, dem. Which means what? Which means that if there are masculine nouns that are appearing in the dative form, then you have to use this. Just like you have learnt that masculine nouns appearing in the accusative form are den, we have to learn that in the dative form it's dem. That's okay? Yeah. Similarly, feminine nouns appearing in the dative case will be der, and neuter nouns appearing in the dative would be again like masculine, dem. Now these are the forms that we have to learn, because these forms don't exist in the English language but they exist in German, so we have to learn, we have to know that masculine dative is dem, feminine dative is der, and neuter dative is dem. We have to learn that, okay. Now here also we will pause, at this point also we will take a pause to see whether there are any grey areas, anything not clear. I am coming to that now. That is the next step. Okay. Then can we proceed from here? What have you, now these are called the definite articles, right? Der, die, das are the definite articles. What are the indefinite articles? Ein. Ein. So you have already seen that ein also, if it is masculine accusative, becomes einen. Yeah, clear to everybody? Feminine accusative remains eine and neuter accusative remains ein, no change, which corresponds to this table as well. Only masculine accusative is changing, the other two are the same. Similarly, ein also, what is the negative article? Kein. Functions the same way, no difference. What are possessive articles? Mein, dein, sein, unser, etc. They also work in the same way. Okay. So this is next step. Okay, up to here. Then we come to one of the things about the plural is that, or one of the things about gender distinction is that gender distinction exists only in the singular. It doesn't exist in the plural. Okay. So what happens to the definite article? All of them are D. All of them are D. So quite like the feminine, D, D, they will remain the same in nominative and accusative. They will remain the same. Okay, no change. So I am not writing them here because we don't have space on this sheet. But is that clear to everybody that in the plural, all the three genders, definite article is D, nominative D, accusative D, no change. Okay. Only in the dative, and this is plural, it is den plus n. Okay. Dative plural is den plus n. What does this mean? This means that the article that we use for a dative plural noun, I'll give an example right away, is den, and there is a plus n there, which means if the noun does not have an n at the end, then you add an n. Okay. So, if the noun does not have an n at the end, you add an n. That is what it means. Okay. There are very few exceptions to this rule where you don't change anything, just leave it like that. But the by and large, well, 99% of the cases, you add an n. Is that, we'll do an example right away. Das Kind. Wie heißt der Plural von das Kind? Ja? Man fügt noch er dazu, die Kinder. Okay. Wir nehmen das als Beispiel, wir nehmen das Kind als Beispiel, einmal Nominativ, einmal Akkusativ, einmal Dativ und einmal Plural. Ja? Okay. Ja, geben Sie mir ein Beispiel. Was kann das Kind trinken? Wasser? Milch. Milch. Besser. Saft auch, ja, aber Milch. Das Kind trinkt Milch. Das Kind ist hier Nominativ. Yeah? Okay. How can you have an example where das Kind is the direct object? In English now, let's say, give us an example where the child is a direct object.
The book was given to the child.
No.
The child was crying.
No. Subject. Who's crying? Child is crying. Subject.
Mother scolds the children.
Where? Who said?
Scolds the child.
We can change the verb.
The mother
Feeds the child.
Loves the child.
Loves the child.
I mean, chumma just for the sake of convenience. It might not be true, but yeah. What is to love?
The child.
Auf Deutsch bitte.
Lieben.
Lieben. Lieben. Ja. Bitte bilden Sie den Satz. The mother loves the child.
Die Mutter.
Wie heißen Sie?
Die ist mir Lakshmi Priya.
Lakshmi Priya. Ja, bitte.
Die Mutter
Moment. Die Mutter liebt
das Kind.
das Kind. Das Kind trinkt Milch, die Mutter liebt das Kind. We are at one level till here, no problem. Now we could make a sentence where the kind becomes the indirect object. Now let's combine the two. No, the mother is loving the child has to be drinking milk. So we can make the mother give, yeah, the child milk. Bitte, bilden Sie den Satz.
Die Mutter
Die Mutter
Gibt
gibt, sehr gut, gibt,
das Milch
das
gibt Milch, gibt dem
dem Kind
Kind Milch. Das ist Nominativ, das ist Akkusativ und hier haben wir den Dativ. I will, if you don't mind, I'll give you time to write, okay. So I would like to know whether this is clear from you. So we have here, wir haben hier drei Beispiele mit einem Nomen, das Kind, einmal Nominativ, einmal Akkusativ und einmal Dativ. Das, dem. If you look back to the table, then you will find under neuter, das, dem. That is the meaning of that das, dem. Okay. We can do one more example with this, or two more examples. Das Kind is neuter. A male child is what? Der Sohn. And a female child is die Tochter. How would you read the same sentences with die Tochter? Let's see. Yeah. Wie heißen Sie? Priya. Yeah. Yeah.
Die Tochter trinkt Milch.
Die Tochter trinkt Milch. Yeah. Dann?
Die Mutter liebt die Tochter.
Die Mutter liebt die Tochter. No change. Die Tochter trinkt Milch. Die Mutter liebt die Tochter. Ja. Dann? Madhu?
Die Mutter gibt der Tochter.
Yeah, die Mutter gibt der Tochter Milch. When Tochter appears as indirect object, the die will change to der. That is the meaning of feminine die, der. And we need not do another example, but with der, what will happen? Okay. Yeah, next. Wie heißen Sie?
Ich heiße
Nandika. Yeah, der Sohn. The same sentences with der Sohn.
Der Sohn trinkt Milch. Die Mutter liebt den Sohn.
Die Mutter liebt
Den.
den Sohn.
Oh ja, sorry, den Sohn. Und die Mutter gibt dem Sohn.
Yeah, dem. It's not dem. Dem. Die Mutter gibt dem Sohn Milch. Okay. So that is for you asked about the dative case, right? Is it conceptually clear what dative case is? Okay. Then now let us take the plural of Kind as our example. The plural of das Kind, die Kinder. Yeah. Die Kinder, was essen die Kinder gern? Was essen Kinder gern? Schokolade. Okay. Sagen wir mal, die Kinder essen Schokolade. Ist okay? Die Kinder essen Schokolade. Das Kind trinkt Milch. Die Kinder essen Schokolade. Strukturell sind die beiden Sätze gleich. Gleich? Same. Similar. Okay. Die Kinder essen Schokolade. Die Kinder, Plural, which case? Nominative. How could we could take parents loving their children, just for example, again, for safe convenience. Yeah, parents, Eltern, yeah. Dann bilden Sie einen Satz.
Die Eltern.
Wie heißen Sie? Ja.
Die Eltern.
Moment. Die Eltern.
Die Eltern liebt.
Die Eltern lieben die Kinder. Hier haben wir Plural die Kinder als Akkusativ. Yeah? Die, no change. Yeah, now let us make the parents buy the children some chocolate.
Hanusha.
Hanusha. Okay.
D älter Koffen.
Moment. Die Eltern kaufen Schokolade. Here, Schokolade am Ende kaufen den plus n. Also, den Kinder. Die normale Pluralform ist Kinder, aber hier ist Kinder Dativ, also den Kindern. Wir nehmen ein extra n dazu. Ja? Die Eltern kaufen den Kindern Schokolade. Hier haben wir Dativ. This is the meaning of that den plus n, which we have noted in the earlier den plus n.
Explain the meaning of den plus n again.
Okay. So den plus n we have to use when a plural noun appears in the dative case. Okay. So for example, if you look at this, die Eltern. You look at all the three examples here, can you see them? Die Kinder essen Schokolade. Here we have taken a plural noun, die Kinder. In the first sentence, they are the subject. They are eating chocolate. So they are in the N, that is nominative case. Okay, they are die Kinder. In the second sentence, we say die Eltern lieben die Kinder. The parents are loving. The parents are loving who? The children. Now children are object of parents' love. Okay, so they are in the accusative case. It remains die Kinder. But in the third sentence, die Eltern kaufen Schokolade. The parents are buying chocolate, correct? So chocolate is direct object. But they are buying chocolate for whom?
Children.
They are the dative object, children. When die Kinder is now appearing as the dative object, right? In that situation, you use not die but den. And Kinder, the plural form, it does not have an n at the end. So you add an n. Kindern. Okay. If it already has an n, no need to add. But if it doesn't have an n, you add an n. That is the meaning of den plus n. Dative plural, den plus n. I'll give another example. What is the word for student? Oh, what is the word for student? Student. Male student is student. Let's take a male student as an example. Der Student. Plural? Die Studentin. Already there is a n at the end. Okay. So we will take one example with student. Okay. Der Student, plural, Studentin, die Studentin. Okay. Yeah, what do you want to make the student do? Study. That is highly improbable.
Sleep.
Was ist to sleep auf Deutsch? Schlafen. Und to sleep for a long time? Lange schlafen, ja. Der Student? Schlaft oder schläft? Schläft. Schläft lange. Okay. Schlafen lange. Yeah? Okay. How to make the students direct object? Let's say, how would you make the students direct object of something? Who's speaking? The teacher? It can get a little complicated. The teachers like the students, let's say, for just again hypothetically speaking, the teachers like the students. How do you? Die Lehrer. Moment. Die. Now if you're using die Lehrer, it means plural. Der Lehrer, die Lehrer. Die Lehrer. Plural. Magen. Magen, das ist mein Magen. Mögen. Ja. Mögen die Studenten. Ja? Wir haben hier eine Pluralform, die Studentin als Nominativ, dann die Pluralform, die Studentin als Akkusativ, die Lehrer mögen die Studenten und jetzt, da die Lehrer die Studenten mögen, since the teachers like the students, let us make the teachers give the students a lot of homework. Okay, so how would you make the teachers give the students a lot of homework? Die Lehrer, die Lehrer, Plural. Geben. Geben. What is, how is a lot of homework? Viel. House. Hausaufgabe. Okay. Hausaufgabe. Now, Hausaufgabe, homework, is it something you can count or not count? It not count. So, not feeler, but feel. Geben, viel, Haus, Aufgabe. Yeah, Dative plural. Den, not den. Den Studenten. Wir haben schon am Ende ein N. In the case of Studenten, plural, already the N is there. No need to add. Okay, we have the den plus N. In such a case, don't add an N. Yeah, now you can take a minute to write it down if you want. I am taking a 1 minute pause for you guys to think back on nominative, accusative, dative. If you can, if there is anything that is not clear, any grey area still, you can ask now, so that we have systematically covered the 3 cases in that case. Okay. You have to, of course, we have already pointed out that once you have, for example, once you have this table, we have already pointed out that with ein, how it will function with ein, how it functions with kein, how it functions with mein, dein, and so on and so forth. Okay, that is clear. We have to also remember that ein, eine, ein cannot have a plural. Okay. A pen, the plural is without an article, just pens. Okay. The student, the students, but a student, students, no article. Okay. So that you have to remember. It is not the case with mine and kine. Mine and kine both can be singular, can be plural. Okay. For example, ich habe kein Wasser. Okay, ich habe kein Wasser or ich habe keinen Bleistift. What is a Bleistift? What is a Bleistift? What is a Stift? Pen. Yeah. Ich habe keinen Stift. Blei is actually Blei is a German word for lead, the metal, lead. So, Bleistift is of course a pencil. It is der Bleistift, die Bleistifte. Okay, it is a pencil. Anyway, so ich habe keinen Stift, ich habe keinen Bleistift, single. I have no friends. Ich habe keine Freunde. I can use keine for one, I can use keine for several. Similarly, mine. Das ist mein Das ist mein Gesundheit. Gesundheit. If you, what is mean Gesundheit? Yeah, good health or whatever. If somebody sneezes, in German you say to the person Gesundheit, and the person has to say Danke. Oh. Okay, was ist das? Huh? Key. Okay. Das ist, nein, das ist mein Schlüssel. Das ist mein Schlüssel. Der Schlüssel. Der Schlüssel. Okay, das ist mein Schlüssel. Das sind meine Stifte. Mein Schlüssel, meine Stifte. So, to make a long point short, with ein, no plural, with kein and mein, you can have plural. Okay, so the plural will work exactly like d, den plus n. So, meine, meinen plus n. Keine, keinen plus n. Same way as the d, den plus n functions in the three cases. Okay, so I will wrap up today with going back to the second difficulty that was there, which is am, an der, in, im, bei, in der, and so on and so forth. Let's take the first example. Ich bin in der Stadt. Don't write right now. Ich bin in der Stadt. Stadt. Ist das maskulin, feminin, neutrum? Die Stadt. Die Stadt ist hier der Stadt. Welche Form ist das? Die, das ist eine Dativform. So, Dativform. In der Stadt. Ich bin in der Stadt. This dative form is being influenced by in. What kind of a word is in? In terms of grammar, what would you call in? A proposition. Don't propose to anybody with in, okay? It's not a proposition, it's a preposition. It's a preposition. It's something that shows a position, or preposition. Okay, so ich bin in der Stadt. So in is a preposition, and in as a German preposition has certain attributes by virtue of which it can render the noun to which it is attached either in the accusative or the dative case. Okay, it's not that complicated if you try and understand that when we say I walk into the room, I walk into the room and I sleep in the room. I don't sleep into the room, I can slip into the room, but I don't sleep, no, I sleep in the room, but I walk into the room. You understand? There's a difference in the way, because in the first sentence there's a movement, that's why you are saying into. In the second sentence there is no movement, you are in the room, that's why we are not saying into or anything like that. Okay, so this difference in German, is made apparent through accusative and dative. You understand? I walk into the room, or let's say I drive into the city. You can also drive into the city, no? You don't have to be in the city. So what is to drive in German? Fahren. How do you make the sentence? We drive into the city. Wir fahren in. Are we driving into the city or are we in the city? Into the city. Accusative. Wir fahren in. Ich fahre in die Stadt. Okay. and ich bin in der Stadt. That is how it is, that difference is made apparent in German through accusative and dative. So, I am driving into the city, ich fahre in die Stadt, Akkusativ. I am in the city. I eat in the city, I drink in the city, I sleep in the city, I whatever it is, in the city, in der Stadt. Okay, the first sentence is movement. The second sentence is, we will come back to this when we do prepositions in detail, we will come back to this, there will be more examples, but I just wanted to tell you that now that we know the dative forms, what we see here is the use of a dative form, der Stadt, and it is happening because of in, because as the example, if you have understood, I walk into the room and I sleep in the room, it's a different sense, one is moving into that space, one is already in that space. This difference is shown in the German language through the use of accusative and dative. So, ich fahre in die Stadt, there is a movement, ich bin in der Stadt, no movement. Okay. I might be running around in the city, no problem. I might be dancing my way around the roads of the city, everything is fine, but I am in the city. With respect to the city, I am not moving from point A to point B. Okay. That is shown by the use of in der Stadt. If there is a movement, it will be shown with the use of in die Stadt. Okay. Similarly, is the same case with an dem. For example, one of the sentences we have learnt is ich studiere am IIT Madras. Ich studiere an dem IIT Madras. Dem is a dative form. IIT Madras ist ein Institut, das Institut, dem Institute. Okay. We are using the dem form because it is position. I am studying here. Okay. I am not diving into IIT Madras, or I am not flying into IIT Madras. I am not running into IIT Madras. I am studying here. It is showing a position. Okay. So, I can be running away from IIT Madras, that is all, that not show position, that will show movement again, is different. But IIT Madras is an dem, which is position, that is why you have das dem. It is shown by the use of dative. Okay. Similarly, in dem, im, we will have the examples of. By is something that we, that you have to clarify what you want to know about by. Techniker, Technikerin.
By Volkswagen.
By Volkswagen, yeah. The use of by here is because to the German mind, usually you are working with, at the place of, Volkswagen or Siemens or whatever it is. That is why you are using by. You also use by if you are living with your parents. Ich wohne bei meinen Eltern. Okay. So, there also you are using by. So, you have to understand the sense in which by is used in the German language. You can't go with a one-to-one correspondence. If it is I work at TCS, then it should be or un or whatever. You can't have that kind of one-to-one correspondence, because to work for a company or at a factory or whatever it is, to the German mind it is not exactly the same preposition that comes to the German mind, it is a different preposition that comes to the mind. That is why it's an idiomatic difference between German and English. So, which again is an important thing, and we will wrap it up with this, that, and especially in prepositions, you have to remember that there is very little one-to-one correspondence between prepositions. So, every time we say in German, it does not always mean in, okay. In English, it could mean to, it could mean into, it could mean a couple of other things. So, we will not have a one-to-one correspondence as far as the meaning of the prepositions is concerned. So we have to try and illustrate to ourselves visually what the preposition means. Okay, and we'll try and do that when we do prepositions in detail, but that is the explanation for and in der, in die, etc. etc. Ich glaube, das ist genug für heute. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Have you learned this expression? No? Normally at the end of, if you are giving somebody a lecture, what do you say at the end of it? Thank you for your precious time. I mean, if I am not doing anything, my time is not precious. So, attention. Thank you for your attention. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ein schönes deutsches Wort. Aufmerksamkeit. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Bis Montag. Wir treffen uns wieder am Montag um 11 Uhr. 11 Uhr hier im Studio. Ja? Vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen.